Just be quiet and then watch the movement from the mind, which you will know. Thoughts, feelings, memory, sort of like projections, imagination, images, all these are coming from mind. Means that they don't actually belong to the present moment. They don't belong to anything around you. Everything around us is totally innocent. Nothing is attacking you. Everything is just as it is. But in the mind starts to create these kind of relationships and intention and what to do list and so on like that. So when you're conscious of that activity by just witnessing it but not identifying with it like this, then somehow immediately this thing like this, just like this, it just opens up and you can see that that's mind activity, and you become naturally self-aware that you are not that activity, you are the weakness of it. So again, when I say we must discover the difference between yourself and the mind, that's what happens. You start. The more we do that, the more somehow we can be self-aware, which is not just mind aware. You're aware of the mind. You can work with mind. When you're self-aware, you come into shapelessness. You're shapeless awareness. No? And inside that, there's a shape of the mind and activities. When you're shapeless, you can deal with shapes. Okay, you can work with them because the background is the shapeless. That's simple exercise. I was trying to get that across yesterday. Just observe your mind. See, again, for most people, if they sit down for 3-5 minutes and they're not told what to do, okay. If they're told what to do, if you say, we're going to sit for 5 minutes, the mind says, okay, we're going to sit for 5 minutes. And then, okay, it can just about handle it. But if you let people sit and they don't know, you don't tell them what to do, then they start to play with their mind, or they play, like this, yeah, well, over there, something now. In fact, you're in a state of waiting. You're waiting for something to happen. And we're almost always in some gear. I say, let's put a mental gear. You're up to something. You're on some program. And so we never quite learn to rest or to acknowledge the natural resting place and the peace of the self. Like we're unaware of our natural peace. The mind-generated activity means that the activity which has no real fruit. It's like a fruit tree that bears no fruit, except the fruit of just disharmony and, suffering. So that thing, the mind-generated activity, which is where the ego lives, that activity we're in the world is very highly engaged with. Procrastinating, fantasizing, wishful thinking, memory, subjective, interpretations and stuff like this. And that makes the house busy. So when it comes time for conscious resting, it's like we don't know what to do. There's so much resistance is in the system. It feels like, you say just to close your eyes and people start to feel restless. I said, don't try and stop the restlessness. Let the restlessness come and begin to observe it with detachment. Don't try and shut it down or find some kind of distraction for it. Let the restlessness come. Feel it in the body. That's the beginning of your healing and the beginning of your, your self-awareness. Feel the restlessness. Something. And said, okay, let that happen. Don't try and stop it. Just be in the place of just the awareness. So, but I can't do it. And said, but even the voice that says I can't do it is also something observable. It's not the awareness. And little bit by little bit you persevere and you start to see a gap opens and you can feel the difference between that is mind and the weakness is still. And you begin to discover the weakness. And you be where the weakness is, and you can see the mind.